Gals that most of us grew up with. I mean, if you're like me at all, on Saturday night, the Lawrence Welk show was mandatory viewing at our house. I always wanted to be Janet. For these ladies, it actually hasn't been all rosy and perfect by any means, and their image on the Welk show was not really the reality. I think we should bring them out and do some catching up. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Lennon Sisters, Peggy, Janet, Dee Dee, and Kathy. Were you?
So it's been a while. Yeah.
It has been a while. But you know what? Really, in sort of researching this show, I couldn't believe that you guys, we have a lot in common, which probably all women in show business do, but you guys did it before we even knew there was television.
There were in early television. We really did. I mean,
the sort of pioneer women.
Pioneer women. We were. As us as children. And then growing up on television in everyone's home every weekend.
Yeah, but 13 years with Mr. Welk.
Yeah,
at scale.
Well, that was Mr. Welk's policy. He went by the union rules, and that was his policy. We knew it was his policy. And later on, when we realized that we could sort of grow as women and go out and work a lot less days, for a lot more money. We sort of made the transition.
But, right, and at that time we got married and had children of our own, and we decided that we would, break away from that. And we did want to become women too. It was a little bit difficult to grow up on that show, and people always expected to see Janet in braids. And the first time that she had her hair in a ponytail or pulled back or curled, they were shocked. So it was kind of hard to break away from being little girls. Until we broke away from the Lawrence Welk show.
That had to be really frustrating, too.
Well, it was.
I mean, to become teenagers, not be able to sing the teenage songs.
I was a senior in high school. And of course, Janet was 9.
I was 9 when we started.
Well, I was a junior in high school when we started, but we would sing, at Easter time, we were singing dressed in little blue dresses, dancing around toadstools. And I went to school, and luckily my friends were really my friends because they laughed about it, but I did take some teasing.
And then, of course, and through the years, as we did grow up and people still thought of Janet as little Janet, would be having a little one, and Mr. Welk, of course, at that time in television, you really didn't talk about being pregnant or they was with child or whatever.
Is that too hysterical? I went through this on the Burnett show where I wasn't allowed to be pregnant.
Well, it was the type of thing that was like a joke. Where are we going to hide the Lennons? Should we put them behind a gate? Should they hold a bouquet of flowers? A bush? And then all of a sudden, one week you'd say, and this is a picture of my new baby.
And it was a magical thing. Right. And nobody knew where it came from.
And it was,
or how you did it.
You went through this with Carol, too.
Well, yeah, I got laid off for a while in the Burnett show because I was pregnant, and I said at the time, but Lucy went to a commercial break to have her baby.
That's right.
Really, didn't she? We have to take a break so I can have my child now. And we watched the whole pregnancy, and they said, well, yeah, but that was her show.
But that was different because she was married to Desi on the show and is married. I mean, it's like...
Well, yeah, and then I said, well, okay, how about Cher? She's in the next studio taping with her ex-husband pregnant with somebody else's child.
That was true.
Well, yes, but that's her show.
The Burnett show.
And you guys, were going through all this growing up stuff during the time when the Smothers Brothers was happening, and Cher, and molds were changing. And
sure, when the 60s came around, I mean, we really wanted to do that new music. When the Beatles came in and all that great music afterwards, we really wanted to perform that. We wanted to wear the miniskirts because we were still young and we loved to wear miniskirts. And that's about the time when we found, Mr. Welk didn't want us to do that kind of music and would not let us wear the miniskirts.
Now, do you really? I feel a lot of the time it was also we would get from the audience. They really didn't want us to grow up either.
That's what I was going to ask you.
And so
do you think your audience wouldn't have accepted you singing a Beatles song?
They accepted us when we ended up doing Andy Williams' show, and we did Andy's for 2 years, and we had our own television show. Then they accepted us doing the Beatles show, but on the Lawrence Welk show, people kept us as little girls, and Mr. Welk kept us as little girls, and he believed in his audience. He listened to the the manager of his building who would come up in the morning and say, Mr. Welk, I'm not sure the girls' skirts were awfully short. And that would change the show. It would come in, you've got to lower your lengths, because the manager of the building thought so. He listened to the people. And you know, you can't fight with success. Look at what, you know.
But now didn't he let you girls wear bathing suits on the show one time?
Only old-fashioned ones.
Oh yeah, they were the big balloony.
And at one point we did have shorts. We wore like Bermuda shorts. And we were in Bermuda shorts sitting by like a pool. That was like the
Lennon Sisters have
knees. And we got letters. And we did get letters. We got letters.
Did you really?
Lennon Sisters don't have legs.
You got adverse letters from people that were upset.
Yes. You don't dress that way when you're the Lennon Sisters. And so, you know.
So how hard was it to leave? Was it a mutual decision? Who decided to?
It was sad.
It was time to move on. It was sad. It was sad for us to leave the whole concept of the Lawrence Welk Show, and by that I mean the studio where we worked. When we began working with the Lawrence Welk Show, ABC Studios didn't even have concrete. It was dirt and a couple of buildings, and we would go to work, and the guys in the carpenter shop would make us kites, and we'd fly them out in the back, and we had kittens under the stage that we could play with, and the engineers, we would go up with the electricians, and we'd pull the light things, and we were always up in the booths with the engineers and up on the cameras with the guys, because that was what you did. At lunchtime, there was no place to go. There was no commissary, so we would brown bag it, and we'd put up a couple of light standards and a volleyball net. We'd play volleyball with the crew, or play basketball into the big trash cans. But then so leaving all of those people that were our really dear friends. I mean, we grew up with them. That was very hard.
And that was when we got married and had children of our own, we realized we didn't want to spend all that time at the studio.
Yeah. Now, when did you all get married on the Lawrence Welk Show during that time that we were watching?
I think we did. I did. But we were on over 13 years every Saturday night.
Right.
So yes, I guess we did. Yes. I guess.
Now, how many marriages do we have between us? I'm in for 2.
I've got one.
Right. You're one.
I'm in the hot seat right here. 2. I'm in for 2.
Okay. And you know, 6, 8. There's 8 between us.
And you know what? That's another part of it, being the Lennon Sisters and growing up on television. You live in a glass house, and you not only have to go through the pain of divorce, meaning marriage and family is everything to us and always was. That was instilled in us, and that's our base. And to go through that transition, not only in front of your friends and family with the pain that a divorce is, you go through it with the public eye, you know, maybe judging you. And that was very difficult for Janet and I to go through. And I don't know if that's how you feel about it, because every movie magazine, here, oh my gosh, wait a minute, the Lennon Sisters who believe in marriage, look what happened. And that vow is the most important thing. And for us to go through it was quite difficult.
Especially after I got married first. I was the oldest of the 11 children. And I was the first one to get married, and I've been married 33 years. Well, I had a, childhood sweetheart, and I mean, it just happened that way. I mean, I was lucky. A lot of it is luck. And so then for them to see this and then to have things happen to them, it was very hard.
What kind of men do you look for? One of
the things that we said, people think of us as the Lennon sister. Like, we live in the same house, we do the same things. We're such 4 individual different people. Most people don't know that. But if you took a look at our husbands, then you'd know how different the 4 of us are, because each of our husbands is such an entirely different looking person, personality-wise. They're entirely different people.
And yet we all looked for almost the same thing, in that loving children, loving family, loving sports. And we all kind of had that same, because and a great sense of humor, because to live with our family, believe me, sense of humor.
Have to live with the family, right? Yeah. We have to take a little break now, but don't go anywhere, because